I'm thrilled to introduce Kathleen Gabriel, owner of Gabriel HR. Kathleen is looking forward to diving deep into marketing over the next few months and preparing for a busy Q1. She's excited about the B2B cycle, knowing that this is the perfect time to set up for a strong start to the new year. Personally, Kathleen is gearing up for a trip in December to visit her parents and her brother's family. Her nephews, now towering at 6 feet tall, keep her laughing with their great sense of humor, reminding her how quickly time flies. Outside of work, Kathleen's had a great summer in the garden despite growing a few too many tomatoes. She's also staying active with her choir group and very excited about a special concert featuring a song cycle written by their own conductor. In her downtime, Kathleen is working on an intricate, spooky advent calendar cross stitch and is about to embark on a pottery class for the first time ever, which is something she's very excited about. On the business front, Kathleen is laser focused on showing how HR can strategically integrate with the other services that our B2B group offers, ensuring she's building the connections for her clients directly to our B&I team. It is with great pleasure to welcome Kathleen Gabriel. And Kathleen, I will give you a 2-minute warning.
Thank you so much, Whitney. It is always awesome to have you introduce us. So I'm going to share. If you know what, every time, where's the share button? Where's the stuff? There we go. There's the stuff. All right. So can everyone see my screen?
Good to go.
All right, everyone. So today the topic is the practical need for strategic human resources for every single business that has employees. So when you think about companies, what do companies have once they start hiring? Once you are no longer a solopreneur, you are a company with or an organization with employees. You got goals and you got people. Like top of the line, that's the biggest view from the top, goals and people. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, don't the people support the goals? Doesn't everything you have in the company support the goals, like your property, your IP, your cash money, whatever you have? You have those as a business owner, including people, so that you can reach your goals. Well, the big difference between everything else listed and people is that people don't always do what you tell them to do. People have their own minds. And if you don't align them with your goals, they might just kind of wander off and do their own thing. And if they do that enough, then that means that the other things supporting your goals can't support them quite as well. And everything gets a little hard to do in your business. Not impossible usually, but hard to do. So, how do you keep your people and your goals aligned so that your people can support your goals? You look at your data and you might think, oh, well, I mean, come on, how many numbers can you get out of human resources? The number of employees? You can get a lot. So you get your data to figure out what is working in your company, what is not working, and therefore where to invest your future efforts. So we're going to talk first about recruiting numbers. So what are your basic recruiting metrics? Your time to fill, your time to hire, and your quality of hire. And it seems like, again, time to fill and time to hire seem pretty similar. But time to fill is the number of days it takes between approving or posting a job and a candidate accepting the job. They haven't started yet, but they have accepted your offer. Time to hire is the candidate experience. So the candidate, they apply for the job, they engage with your recruiting process, and then they start the job on day one. So your time to fill might be, I don't know, 3 months. I really hope your time to hire is not 3 months with a candidate applying and going through a slog of interviews and not hearing from you and hearing from you again. So you want a really tight amount of time, frankly, for both, but they should be different. Now, how do you measure numerically your qualities of hire when you just want to do a look, an overview look of what is the generally speaking quality of hire? What you do is you give yourself between 1 and 5 measurable metrics that are aligned with your company goals. You create a number scale. I also like 1 to 5 for the number scale to assign to those metrics. And then you average the numbers so that for each employee, you can say, this is your quality of hire. Again, big picture. You always want to put these numbers in context. So metrics you might want to use are like employee retention. How long has an employee been with the company? Employee engagement, performance appraisal scores, and speed of onboarding. And when you look at a quality of hire score, how often should you do this? When should you do this? I like doing 3 months after hire, just so you can get that 90-day check-in. I like anniversaries, whether they be hire anniversaries or if you do performance appraisals all at the same time per year. And I really like pre-hire look backs. When you see a superstar employee, look back at their hiring process. When you have an employee who washes out at 6 months, look back at their hiring process. What were the differences? And make adjustments accordingly so you can get more superstars. And always, if you want better hiring results, invest in your candidate experience. Studies have shown time and time again, investing in candidate experience can increase your quality of hire by 70%. That is so huge, I can't even tell you. Invest in the candidate experience and you will land those superstars you're looking for. Another metric, it is again been shown time and time again that diverse teams are more effective and more productive than homogenous teams. So when you invest in diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, how do you see what you're doing and if it's working? So basic metrics you can work at are pay gaps. Determine what your different groups are. Determine if there's intersectionality, meaning people might belong to more than one group, and see what the differences are. See what your preponderant group is, because you might assume there's one and then discover there's another. And then see what the pay differences are, and always put in context, correct for salary ranges in different locations, because someone in Silicon Valley is probably going to make different money than someone in Ohio, and just see where the scope is for that. Something that employers don't look at as much as they maybe should is salary range penetration, meaning you have salary ranges, you've established those, and everyone is in their correct salary ranges, but how far? And what elements indicate that they should be in what space, like tenure with the company, years of experience, if they have education or certifications. So do you have someone who's brand new at the really high end of the spectrum and someone really experienced at the low end? Or is everyone pretty much where they should be? And then we move on to diversity ratios. So you can count and compare the number of people representing in different groups. So not just the organization as a whole, but in different teams, different departments, executive leadership, middle management. Google about 10 years ago released all of their numbers and it was discovered, yeah, they've got pretty good diversity numbers as long as you note that there aren't any women in tech, they're mostly in admin, but yeah, there's a lot of women here. That's not the kind of diversity that you're generally speaking looking for. And then how do you tell whether your initiatives are being effective? And so look at your hiring practices again, because you have all that data from your recruiting. How many candidates are in each category applying to jobs? And is that same ratio being hired, or is it a different ratio? Look at your career paths. How long does it take each person to get promoted?
2 minutes.
Thank you. What percentage of pay increases do they get, and how frequently do they get pay increases? And once you determine what your diverse and homogenous groups are, how long do diverse employees stay? And when they terminate, why do they terminate? So other numbers you can look at are retention numbers, and that can be a little harder to do, but then you have to be proactive to seek these out. So you can do a survey of your employees, always anonymous, because otherwise no one's going to answer this honestly, and give a 0 to 10 score of how likely are you recommend this company. Then you do career path ratios of just flat numbers of how many promotions are there versus just changes in general. And then salary changes. You do percentage of change over the total employment time or maybe other time values, and do that over the company, over teams, and over individuals. You can look at engagement by looking at absenteeism and presenteeism. Again, absenteeism is easy because you got that data on your time off, but also presenteeism is, yeah, you show up and aren't really productive. And management might be able to go in and say, well, who is showing presenteeism? So you look at all of these numbers and you work from your data. And so you start with discovery, you go into planning from that discovery, and you enact all of your systems, plans, and processes to achieve your goals. And then once you do that, you go back into discovery to see, well, how well did this work and what things did we not know before? What kind of data didn't we even have before that we have now? Because remember, you cannot manage what you do not measure. And so having someone on your team, like an experienced strategic and practical human resources consultant, means you not only will have your data, but you'll know what to do with it. So thank you so much, everyone.